Improving at Rocket League can be hard. Right when you think you have it down, right when you've learned your new mechanics, you start ranking up a bit. But then it all stops. You feel stuck, sitting at the same rank for days, weeks, sometimes even months. You once felt cozy ranking up, but now it feels impossible. Do you know this feeling? Spending a whole season at the same rank, hard stuck, as the locals would say? If so, you're in luck, because I'm going to cover how to keep improving at Rocket League. When I'm looking at how I want to do something or get someplace, I like to break down the steps. That's what we're going to be doing here. This is a format that you'll probably be seeing me use throughout this entire series. So firstly, let's go ahead and look at this. What is the main reason we stop ranking up? And how can we combat this? The answer is surprisingly easy. The issue is this: comfort. For us to keep ranking up, we need to make ourselves in the training field feel as uncomfortable as we possibly can. Because if we're always sitting in our comfort zone and not pushing ourselves, that's when we stagnate and grow at such a slow pace. So now that we know what is stopping us from ranking up, let's go ahead and look at what we can do to keep away from the comfortable mindset a lot of us get stuck in without noticing. I'll go ahead and break these up into categories, probably 3 categories, so it's a little bit easier for you to follow, and I guess so I don't run on and keep talking without any real point or directive, kind of like I'm doing right now. Number 1, playing the game. I want to start with the simplest thing first. Simply putting in the hours almost always will get you better, without any real training whatsoever. This is a time thing though, and it just slowly happens, amassing all our skill and knowledge over time. It's not the fastest way, though it is the most common way people keep improving. This is something any of you can do. Not my favorite way to rank up, just because of the sheer amount of time it takes, but I mean, you do you. Though if you're looking to improve faster and not spend hundreds of thousands of hours in this game to get to the rank you want to be at, then we'll look at a few different methods. One of my favorite ones, and something that I did cover in the last video, link should be on screen now, if you haven't checked that out, definitely go and do so. Playing while talking. I know I covered it really briefly in that video, but I think it's a good thing to do to stay aware of what you are doing and what everyone else is doing, because sometimes it's easy to doze off while playing and talking keeps your brain awake. Just try and point stuff out, such as, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Or what you think your opponent is doing. It'll help you be able to predict stuff faster and keep your brain working. Another one, and I'm sure you guys have heard this a million times, not just from me, but from other people, 1v1s. I'm not sure if all of you play 1v1s. I mean, that's like 90% of the content here, and I don't really know if you guys enjoy that, but I mean, maybe, hopefully you do. Anyway, ones helps with so many things, and I won't be able to cover them all, but 1v1s are also the best to review. This is because you can really hone in on what you are doing. You only have one thing to pay attention to, that's you and your contact with the ball, or your accuracy, things like that. Not only that, but it gives you so much more time with the ball, meaning you get to see what you need to work on a lot faster. And more ball time means more improvement. I know ones can be tilting, but just play a few. Review what you did and see what needs work. And then go back and try and play while working on those things. Who knows? Maybe you'll even get hooked and you'll find a newfound love for not only 1v1s, but the game as a whole. Enough talk about 1v1s for now. Maybe we'll get into it later. I don't know. Playing ranked. You just gotta do it, because deep down, you care about your rank. We all care about our rank, and as much as we try to say that we don't care about it, and that it's not important, we do. And when you care about something, generally speaking, you do your best at that thing. Not to mention, you also be under more pressure to perform well. These factors are perfect for improving, and it keeps you on your toes. Each ranked playlist also helps improve different aspects of your gameplay. For example, 3s helps with your ability to make fast decisions, and be aware of team play options. Also, it helps you with your reactive saves. 2s helps you to learn to pass, to not overcommit, or to double commit, and also helps you work on your solo plays. Speaking of solo plays, for all you 1s haters, 1v1s is just overall a good thing to practice because you improve across the entire spectrum of Rocket League. And you can really hone in on yourself. So get out there and play some ranked. Only playing casuals is not the best because you don't really care about a win or a loss. It just doesn't matter because it's casual. And there's just nothing you're losing in casuals. That's my opinion anyway. While on the topic of casuals, if you do use them, and I do recommend to use them, but you have to be using them right. If you go to casuals just because you're playing bad or because you want to goof off, sure, that's fine, whatever. But be careful. Because if you continually practice bad habits, it's going to be harder to break those down the line. Use casuals to work on improving your mechanics rather than just playing them when you feel down or bad or inconsistent. I like to go in there and only focus on one type of shot, or maybe two types of shot. Tell yourself you can only score a goal if it's a very specific goal. This way you're actively working on improving. Topic number 2, replay review and training. These two things are key factors in being able to continue improving at Rocket League. Using these two things well can help you improve your gameplay, as well as help you improve your game sense a lot quicker, especially if you know how to utilize them properly. When reviewing one of your replays, I always find a play that I want to analyze. Normally I define a play as me interacting with the ball in some way, shape, or form. And I look at what I was doing before the play, seeing if I was in a good spot, seeing if I'm positioned well, if I'm supporting my teammate well, and then I like to look at during the play. Look at the decision I made. Did I successfully pull off the mechanic? Did I win the 50? Things like that. I like to see what I did. And then I like to look at after the play. Was my play successful? Could there have been a better play? What are the other options? That's how I go about my replay review. I use this format whenever I'm reviewing a replay of mine. I do currently have a video out on how to do this in my old Road to GC 1v1 series, though I do plan on making a new one of these soon, as it is something that I need to do. I like to do a replay review every 2 to 3 days, approximately, just to make sure that I'm actually actively improving. Once you have found a few things from your review, try and focus on 2 or 3 things at most. You don't want to try and learn too many new things at once, as it will slow the progress throughout all the mechanics. Work on the mechanic as much as you can in free play first. I find this is the best way to improve. That way you actually know how to do the mechanic before you try and do it in game. Because if you go into a game and you can't hit the mechanic or even do half of it, you're just wasting your time and putting you or your team in a bad spot. Once you can successfully do the shot about 7 out of 10 times, I'd say go and try and do it in game. Because you'll have to try and set it up quicker, you have to beat someone to the ball, and you have to ensure that you maintain possession of the ball to do whatever you're working on. While you are training, make sure you are training the best way for yourself. This is something I don't really see a lot of people cover, and I think it's very important because everyone learns differently. So make sure you find a routine that feels best to you. Some people work better doing smaller training sessions spread out through the day, and other people like to do really large blocks of training. Just find a way that works for you. I like to mix up practicing in free play and finding training packs with a shot or mechanic I want to do. PC users do have more options here, such as Bacchus Mod, special workshop maps, and things such as that, so be sure to take advantage of those if you are a PC player. There are so many great resources out there, and there's no excuse not to be taking advantage of them. As far as training packs go, be careful. They are helpful, but once a shot starts to feel easy or repetitive, make sure you're changing up the pack, finding a new one that's harder, or just trying to hit the shot in a new or more innovative way. This will help you from getting cozy and just doing the same shot over and over again when you're not really learning anything. Again, you want to be pushing yourself as much as you can, and in order to learn as fast as possible, you want to try things you can't do. Forcing blackout moments is a great way to do this, because when you have these blackout moments, that means you're learning. And what I mean by this is when you're in the middle of an air dribble and you can't quite make your fingers do what you want on the controller, or you just can't figure out how to move your car, you need to force these as much as you can in order to improve quickly. So keep an eye out for those when moments like that happen in game, write it down, something like that. That way you can go back and look through your list of things that trigger these blackout moments, and that way you can work on them in your training. And on to the third one here, mentality. I covered a lot of mentality-based ways to improve in my other video, episode 0 of How to Improve at Rocket League. If you would like to check out there is also going to be a link on the screen here, unless I forget to put that up, which is possible because, I do that quite a lot, actually. Anyway, while you're playing, try and keep your criticism while playing constructive and focused on yourself, rather than on others. Often I see other people comparing themselves to others or their teammates, or they try and criticize them rather than themselves, and this frustrates me because people rarely blame themselves. Not very many people are good with accountability. Don't be hard on yourself necessarily. That's not what I'm saying. Just remember to focus on you and your plays and keep your criticism constructive. For example, instead of being mad at your teammate because he didn't hit that shot and you got scored on, try and see what you could have done better to make sure that you guys didn't get scored on. Could you have set up a shot better? Could you have been defending better? Because this is a team-based game at the end of the day, and you can't just blame your team, because you're the only consistent variable across all of your games, and that's the only thing you can choose, is how you play. So don't just blame your team. You need to take accountability for what you do. Maybe in the prior play, you put your teammate in a bad spot and made them rush for something. Or maybe you just completely missed. Or you gave away possession when you didn't need to. Anyway, if you think your teammates are trash, like for real, if you think that they are the only thing holding you back, go play 1v1s. Save a replay, even one you have won, and go over it. I guarantee you'll see yourself make more mistakes than you'll ever remember from any of your teammates in the last 100 games. There's always something you can do to be improving your gameplay. So stop criticizing people around you. And in the end, just remember, sometimes improvement takes time. Just because it's not showing right away, and just because you're not ranking up right away, doesn't mean it's not worth it. A long training session does not necessarily mean that you're just going to improve right away. It takes time. So try not to be too impatient. Try not to be content with just being cozy at your rank, or with your mechanics. Keep on that grind, force out those blackout moments, keep trying new and better things, and don't be afraid to look at your replays. They can help you more than you know. And just do your best to keep your mindset up and your criticism focused on yourself. That's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.